Peace, peace, greetings, Habadi. Welcome to Kiy N.Y7. A lot going on since the weekend with international affairs with America. So, in most recent news, the Pope had just visited Algeria and Africa, and he is having a back and forth with the President of America, President Donald J. Trump. They're having a back and forth. Um, it seems like it's more and more of a spiritual thing going on too, like a spiritual type of warfare. Part of my channel talks about spirituality. This falls right into it. It's like, what is this war really about? So it's like economics, money, but also morale, our belief system, religion. So I want to show some clips from that and give some commentary on some things. And I spotted, I believe she's an African woman on here on YouTube. She's speaking about how she feels that certain areas of the United States may get hit, but it's just interesting to hear different views from people in different areas of the world. I want to get into that and just give some commentary on that. But it's like it's just a lot going on, and I can't help but think of the song by Eminem, "I'm Not Afraid." Pope said he not afraid of Trump. So here we go. I hope everyone is well. Thanks for coming through.
Now let's go live outside the White House to CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand. Hey, Natalie. So is the president facing any backlash because of all this?
Well, he is, but it's not just that post about Pope Leo, which essentially you heard from the Pope himself. He said essentially he doesn't want to debate President Trump, but will continue to speak out and promote peace. But what's getting even more backlash is this AI generated image seeming to depict President Trump as Jesus with a hand on a man's head. The president of Iran, reacting to these posts and this back and forth, posted this statement on social media saying he condemns the insult to the Pope and also declares that disrespect towards Jesus is unacceptable. But beyond reaction from Iran, conservative activists are specifically calling out that AI image, saying it is blasphemous, and also adding they just cannot understand why the president would post a picture like that.
Yeah, and speaking of Iran, let's talk about them, because how is the president responding to not getting a deal over the weekend? Does he believe the move to block the strait will now force them to come back to the table?
Now, I do want to chime in and say that just moments ago, Trump did just say that he removed that from his, I have it in my thumbnail at the bottom there. He said, oh, they had me, as he said he didn't know he was portrayed as Jesus. He said he was supposed to be portrayed as a doctor. But it's like, you're not a doctor either, though, So we'll continue with this, and I'll be chiming in here and there, giving commentary. Welcome to Kiy N.Y7. Anyone new, consider to subscribe, hit like sometimes, comment and chat. Respectfully, please. That's appreciated.
Well, he's defending the decision, this U.S. blockade on Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz, saying that he thinks it will be effective because Iran will not be able to sell oil. We know that the U.S. is also, according to the president, trying to find interdict vessels in international waters that have paid tolls to Iran, and that the U.S. is also beginning this operation to find mines that had been laid by Iran. So, we are seeing this potential escalation in the strait. The president talking about the talks that broke down this weekend that did not lead to a breakthrough despite more than 20 hours of negotiations. He was asked about this and essentially said that he doesn't care if Iran comes back to the negotiating table. Take a listen to some more of his comments.
I think Iran is in very bad shape. I think they're very desperate. We had a meeting that lasted 21 hours. We understand the situation better than anybody, and Iran's in very bad shape. And just so you understand, Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. Will not have. There is no way that they're going to get. They still want it, and they made that clear the other night. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
And CBS News has learned that that was one of the big sticking points this weekend. The U.S. demanding that Iran gives up its uranium stockpiles, ability to enrich. Of course, that's a key material for building a nuclear weapon. Another sticking point to end funding for terrorist proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah, and obviously fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz. So you kind of heard the president there alluding to he thinks Iran is so desperate they might come back to the table. Pakistani sources speaking to CBS News have also said there is this intense push to try to get both parties back to the table to hold this ceasefire. And also, of course, the ultimate goal is for a prolonged peace after the ceasefire technically ends on paper, Mugo.
Of course. Natalie Brand out.
All right, so that was part of it. I want to get to so we can hear specifically what Pope Leo was saying. And then it's like a back and forth that him and Trump have been having probably this past couple of weeks, because the Pope has been vocal about his disapproval of the war between Israel and the U.S. with Iran. And then in a biblical sense, like the Bible's coming into play and your beliefs and your faiths, things like that. And I want to mention right here too, this all occurred. He was just in Africa, Algeria. There's a lot of things going on that are related to Africa that you're not hearing about, but I will show them here because there's a great website. I'm going to leave it in the description. I have to put that in there because they're like Iran is allowing South Africa to make moves, right? Kenya is blocking fuel shipments from the Gulf suppliers. They have their own controversial cargo import deals going on. And the Strait of Hormuz is sparking global crises, and it has to do with Western Africa and things like that. So Africa has been preparing for weeks now, well, really months. I've been following their economic system that they are trying to keep stabilized because they don't want the Westerns to keep coming in and taking. So it's also interesting to see the Pope come into Africa, and that's where he came and last spoke. So show some of those highlights now. And then the Pope, when he mentioned that he's not afraid of the Trump administration, he said that, I believe, while they were on their plane or jet or something. But that's on here as well.
Pope Leo is visiting Africa today and pushing back against President Trump's public attack against him over the weekend. CBS's Tina Kraus has more on this rare clash between the White House and the Vatican.
Pope Leo opened a 10-day trip to Africa Monday with a familiar message to the faithful.
Let us remember that God desires peace for every nation.
The appeal came a day after President Trump slammed the Pope's stance against the war in Iran and U.S. immigration policy.
We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person.
The American-born pontiff responded.
I don't want to get into a debate with him.
Saying he has no fear of the Trump administration and will keep promoting peace.
Too many people are suffering in the world today. Too many innocent people are being killed.
President Trump posted a long message on social media Sunday calling Pope Leo terrible for foreign policy and suggesting he was only elected because the Vatican thought it would be the best way to deal with Trump in office. The president then posted this AI-generated photo depicting him as Jesus, prompting outrage online, even from some supporters who urged him to take it down. Pope Leo Monday called the name of the president's social media platform, Truth Social, ironic, and said Trump doesn't understand the message of the gospel. The pontiff has strongly criticized the treatment of migrants under Trump, labeling it as inhuman. And he's been a staunch critic of the Iran war, calling Trump's threat to destroy Iranian civilization unacceptable. He has urged the president to find an off-ramp to end the conflict. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
3 U.S. cardinals, including the Archbishop of Chicago, echoed Pope Leo's criticism of the Trump administration during an interview last night on 60 Minutes. All three have spoken out against the United States war in Iran and immigration enforcement in the country. There you see Cardinal Blaise Cupich. He talked about what he called the gamification of how the White House has portrayed war on social media.
We're dehumanizing the victims of war by turning the suffering of people and the killing of children and our own soldiers into entertainment.
You called it sickening.
It is sickening.
Cupich says delivering a unified and pointed message is necessary for the church when human dignity is being violated.
All right, so that's what we have there. I took a look at, I wanted to pull up some from the Britannica on the Islamic view on, because it's more of a spirituality outlook on some of this. Their view on war, their view on violence, according to the Quran, their holy Quran. Yeah, I saw someone in the chat said the Pope is a puppet master. I don't think I ever heard anybody say that. But I do find it strikingly interesting that people worship another human person and not the spirit itself. So it's almost like when I learned, like, oh, kissing the feet of Jesus, washing the feet of someone, um, things like that. It's almost like a lot of people take such a bow to the Pope, and anyone that is what would it be, pointed as the Pope. It's like you're kissing them, like you're worshiping them, not what they stand for. So I don't know. It's kind of it gets kind of, I don't know, it gets kind of funky to me with that. But let me pull this up. Corner Britannica. So jihad, Islam. In Islam, jihad signifies a struggle or effort, often misrepresented in the West as a holy war. So that's basically talking about some of us, I guess. But jihad in Islam, various struggle or effort, and where is it? Because I read some of this. I want to get to the part that just kind of broke it down nice and clear. Here we go for the war. All right. In their articulation of international law, classical Muslim jurists were primarily concerned with issues of state security and military defense of Islamic realms, and accordingly, they focused primarily on jihad as a military duty, which became a predominant meaning in legal and official literature. So it should be noted that the Quran 2:190 explicitly forbids the initiation of war and permits fighting only against actual aggressors. And you notice when the Iranians they mention Americans as the aggressors. This is the exact language that they've used. If you check out one of my shorts, the recent one, if you haven't already, it did pretty good. It was showing where one of the leaders of Iran is saying, the troops are and their leaders are going to be fed to the sharks. You guys are going to be shark food. Keep coming over here, messing with us. So they make it very clear that the U.S. has come after them. And I thought I had it on the screen. My bad. And they are the aggressors. Um, Here we go. My bad. So the exact same language. So there's plenty of information on the Holy Quran to go look it up yourself. But this is, I believe, as a reliable source too. This is right directly from the Britannica online, the exact language they've used. But just like I took kind of a different kind of approach on it. It made me think of Bernie Mack, who's a great comedian, one of my faves. And I remember when he came out, when he would do his comedic performance, sometimes he would be in New York. And he'd be like, I ain't scared of you, MFers. I ain't scared of y'all. And it's like Iran and them, they're like, we're not scared of y'all. And like the Pope is like, oh, all right, me and Trump having a little back forth right now. I'm not scared of his administration. So, like I said, when the peace ceasefire deal didn't go through Saturday, I was like, we're going to see more people coming out and just being even probably more vocal and just more, like edgy with this whole situation, because it affects a lot of people. This is not just U.S. Iran. This is a worldly effect. So I just showed some information from the Business Insider of Africa, because Africans have been bracing for impact on oil, on their own resources being tampered with. and they've been taking precautions in certain areas, countries in Africa, to make sure that the Western people don't keep trying to come over there and take. So that's another thing that's been going on. So we have that. Let me get out of this other part. Where am I? Did I do that already? Okay, there we go. Uh, yes, like I said, Bernie Mac. So I just want to show a funny clip from that. And then there was something else I had to show. Oh yeah, I want to show some commentary from Africans and some other people that are giving their take on what's going on right now with everything.
You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I love sex, man. I love it.
All right, let me show you.
They're forming alliances where they decide to do like economic sanctions, or they decide, oh, your players are now going to participate in the Olympics, you know, kind of like that. Like, you're not, your citizens are not allowed into our country. We will not trade certain minerals with you. That's Cold War essentially. That it's not full-blown war, but it's definitely cold. Kind of like when you're cold in a relationship, it's a war, but you're like cold. That's kind of like Cold War.
Of that until recently with the Cold War, and I'm going to share that with you guys briefly. The revelation that I got from that part of the dream, but in part of the revelation of this dream, there was two broadcasts. The first broadcast, and then I heard the word Cold War, and then we got a second broadcast. And what I got from that is that
a lot of people has had dreams too, but I'm just gonna go ahead and share mine. Like I said, I am not a prophet. I'm not claiming to be a prophet. I'm not predicting anything. I'm just sharing what I saw in the dream. Okay, and in two of them, the Lord did speak to me. Okay, so the first dream I had was in 2005. It was in President Bush's last term in office. Because I had this dream before I met my wife as a friend. I met my wife in 2006, and I had that dream before I met her. But anyways, it was around 2005. I had this dream, and this is how the dream was. In the dream, I was in between space and the earth. I was at the very, very top of the earth, right before you reach space. And I saw the globe, and the part of the globe I saw was the United States. And when I was looking at the United States, there was a commotion going on. It looked like in the Washington, D.C., Virginia area, in that area. And it registered in the dream that something major or something bad happened in that dream. Very bad. Okay. And then after that, I noticed there was black helicopters flying from the United States, making its way over towards the Middle East. So then in the dream, I was zoomed out into space, and I saw the globe shift and turn towards the Middle East. Okay. And I was zoomed back into the earth, not close, but right like at the top of the earth, like I said. And then in the when I got to the Middle East, I noticed Israel, I noticed Iraq, Iran, Turkey, Russia, that whole Middle Eastern area, and the little part of Asia where Russia is. I noticed, I was looking at that area. Then all of a sudden, I noticed that there was a missile being launched from Iran towards Israel. And then there was another little missile being launched. It looked like it was coming out of Iraq, like southern Iraq, towards near the border of Iran, also going. So one was in front, and another one was going towards Israel. And when I looked at Israel, I saw a wall of fire stretching from northern Israel all the way down to the border of to the very southern tip of Israel, where Jordan and Israel borders. That whole area was covered with fire. And when the missiles were hitting, the fire would destroy them. Right? It would destroy them. And then I was looking at it, and then next thing you know, I was zoomed back out into space. So I was above the earth and I saw the smoke clear. Okay. Now, after the smoke cleared, listen, I don't know why I seen this, but after the smoke cleared, I was looking at the continents, Africa, Europe, you know, like northern, it was like Europe and not Russia exactly, but that anyways, the continents were in the shape of a devil. So that part I was like, okay, what am I seeing? And then a voice spoke to me. I was zoomed back all the way out into space where I saw the earth, and a voice spoke to me and said, "Do you see what's going to happen?" And I woke up and I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. What did I just see? What did I just see? And what did I just hear in my right ear? That was the first prophetic dream I had. You know why? Because you can look at, I don't know if it had to do with Psalms 83 in the Bible or if it had to do with Ezekiel chapter 38 and chapter 39, because the Bible does say that God is going to protect Israel with fire when they get attacked by multiple nations. Because like I said, in the dream, there was a missile coming from Iran, and it would look like there was a missile that was coming out of southern Iraq near Iran. So it looked like Israel was being attacked by more than one nation, and God was protecting it. Okay, so you could see Ezekiel chapter 38 and chapter 39 or Psalms 83. I don't know which war was that, but after that smoke cleared, I saw the continents in the shape of a devil. And I don't know if that's symbolizing after that event, the Antichrist is going to reign, or if the Antichrist is already reigning during that time. So I don't know. That's the first dream. And like I said, I heard the voice speak to me and said, everything is, I mean, not everything. Do you see what's going to happen? Okay. That was the first dream. That was the last term of President Bush in office. So that was around 2000.
You know what nuclear does. All these fine bridges, all these fine like buildings that we have, they'll be demolished. Okay. That is why you don't want to support the president to go into a war with Russia. Like when you see, if he throws, if Trump, for some any reason, okay, he decides he's going to throw a bomb on the Iranian power plants, whether it's uranium or whatever. If he throws a bomb on them, okay, according to all the prophecies that have been told over and over and over, that is the first sign of the beginning of the end. Okay, him striking Iran, Persia is always on the prophecies of all these, like all these spiritual books, right? If he strikes Persia, if he strikes their uranium or their whatever uranium plant, that's the sure sign that it's the beginning of the end time, right? It's the beginning of the end of time. Like that's the sure sign, there is no going back. We are headed for the bullseye. Okay. And the bullseye is a new world order. Okay. A new world order where people actually genuinely seek God. Okay.
Right. Now, whether you're spiritual or not, you're going to all have a time in your life where you're going to have to make a choice. And, atheism, or whether you're spiritual, or whether you just feel you can connect with someone, regardless of religion and things like that, just a certain level of connection. I notice people run from spirituality or just anything that has to do with something they feel they can't touch. They can't, when the Holy Ghost is real. I felt that the Holy Ghost takes control, takes over your body. Okay. So it's funny because you guys are going to run for God and whatever you can grab when times get tough. So just remember, when there's people like me that have live streams that are trying to show you different angles and give you more to go with as we roam through our lives, you're going to need it one day. So hopefully it's not too late for y'all and those that left, even in their absence, because their energy was here. And you're running around like a bunch of little scary little puppies and stuff when Oh, and I ain't scared of nothing. Oh, I don't really believe in God, or I don't really. But as soon as something go down, y'all be the first ones running to some form of a religion, some form of someone, and then that's when you can run into the wrong person and be misguided. So y'all better be careful and stop running from what's real. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing no justice. You're not hurting nobody but yourself, to be honest. But anyway, so the Pope was just recently yesterday in Africa, particularly Algeria. Um, yeah, let me see. Someone in the chat looked like they said they are not the real Jews. The ancient Jews are dark skinned. This is a created Armageddon by evangelists in Israel. Yeah. Um, that's why it's so weird because they hate when you start speaking on Israel and stuff. It's like, well, who hates it? You guys are not the original Israelites anyway. We don't even operate like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if I should say we. I'm gonna be honest, but I know that I'm direct descendant of Africa. I don't care where I was born. I know where I'm from. I know what I'm of. And the problem with Black people around the world, some of them, they're running from the truth when it's going to just bite them in their ass, and don't come a running when the times get tough. Okay. Um, so the Pope went and visited. He gave pushback to Trump because they've been having a back and forth for maybe a couple of weeks or so now. But even before that, the Pope has just been vocal on immigration and things like that he just doesn't he doesn't agree with. But it's just interesting because you've never really seen the Pope versus like a leader like this, and things that are going on and taking place. It just really seems spiritual. You know what I mean? This is like not just control over land and things like that. This is like deeper than that, and it's almost like uh, I know you mentioned evangelists. Certain people that really are of a strong belief system are probably going to speak out more too on these things that are going on and the wars that are going on. So we're just seeing a lot of change. We're seeing people that never really spoke on things speak up. Somebody was saying recently, "Oh, when did you become political?" I was like, living in a world of politics, you have to be political. Even if you're not a voter and don't speak on it, you reside in a world that is most of the planet, well, not most, but a lot of the planet is governed. You know what I'm saying? So what is your role? Being quiet and just getting ran over? Voting people in that don't do you no justice? You know what I mean? So we're kind of all over the place with it in America. But I see people for who they are and what they are, and I go by their agenda, not so much their political party. But we're in a time right now where we have a lot of false prophets. We have a lot of things going on spiritually, and it's going down. All right. Some of y'all say, well, I don't believe in spirit. We're people or we're energy, whatever you want to call it. Okay. It is what it is. I know it's real. And I'm not here to force nobody, but I'm here to just try to help open eyes and just open up a dialect so that we have a place where we can comfortably get together and talk about things sometime. But this is what's been pushing right now. They're talking about the Pope and Trump a lot. I'll put this thumbnail back up because right here I have at the bottom of the screen is where Trump had put well, someone, he said, put out as he's Jesus somewhere, and he's healing people, things like that. So he just spoke out too and said that he didn't realize that they had did that or something. He said it was supposed to be him as a doctor, and it's like, okay, well, you're not a doctor either. You know what I mean? So I mean, you know, so he just CBS News. I'll go right to there because Trump is now reacting to Pope Leo's comments that were most recent.
Cancer treatment, so
yes,
this goes a long way.
Yes, sir, it sure does.
Yeah.
Mr. President, are another round of talks planned with Iran? And if so, will you send Vice President J.D. Vance again?
Well, he's done a good job, and Steve and Jared, they've all done a very good job. And I can tell you that we've been called by the other side. They'd like to make a deal very badly, very badly.
What was the sticking point over? You said it was over nuclear.
It was over nuclear, very similar. Yeah, very good. I guess you're listening. It's over the fact that they will never have a nuclear weapon. Iran, you marking it down? Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. And we agreed to a lot of things, but they didn't agree to that. And I think they will agree to it. I'm almost sure of it. In fact, I am sure of it. If they don't agree, there's no deal. There'll never be a deal. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, and we're going to get the dust back. We'll get it back either. We'll get it back from them or we'll take it.
Mr. President, as far as the naval blockade is concerned, what's the end game? Is it to force Iran back to the negotiating table? Is it to open up the strait so that gas prices ultimately come down?
Maybe everything. I mean, both of those things, certainly, and more. We can't let a country blackmail or extort the world, because that's what they're doing. They're really blackmailing the world. We're not going to let that happen. And, the amazing thing is, we don't, can you believe this? We don't use the strait. We don't need the strait. We have our own oil and gas, much more than we need. We have more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia. Think of this. We produce more. Saudi Arabia, and add Russia to it. Substantially more. And by next year, we'll have double that amount. So we don't need it, but the world needs it. And many ships are heading to our country right now as we speak to load up with the best. Really, I guess you could say, somebody said the best and sweetest. I don't know exactly what sweet is, but when it relates to oil, it's a good thing. But they're coming to our country right now. There are many boats coming to our country. Now, it could very well be this is going to be settled before that. We've been called this morning by the right people, the appropriate people, and they want to work a deal. They would like to work a deal.
Is it your anticipation, Mr. President, that other countries will assist in this effort to blockade Iran and those?
Yeah, other countries are going to also.
Which countries, sir?
We don't need other countries, frankly, but they've offered the services. We'll let it be known probably tomorrow.
Has the blockade started, sir?
Yeah, started 10 o'clock.
Bishop Robert Barron supports you and your policies, praises you for defending religious freedom.
Yeah.
He now says you owe Pope Leo an apology. Will you apologize?
No, I don't, because Pope Leo said things that are wrong. He was very much against what I'm doing with regard to Iran, and you cannot have a nuclear Iran. Pope Leo would not be happy with the end result. You have hundreds of millions of people dead, and it's not going to happen. So I can't. I think he's very weak on crime and other things. So I'm not. I mean, he went public. I'm just responding to Pope Leo. And his brother is a big MAGA person, and he's a great guy, Louis. And I said I like Louis better than I like the Pope. No, you have to have law and order in our country, and that's what we have now. We have the lowest crime numbers we've had in a long time, despite the fact that many criminals were allowed into our country. But we've gotten a lot of them out. We've done a great job on crime. So we have the lowest murder rate in 125 years, since 1900, the lowest murder rate. So we believe strongly in law and order, and he seemed to have a problem with that. So there's nothing to apologize for. He's wrong. The other thing is he didn't like what we're doing with respect to Iran, but Iran is wants to be a nuclear nation so they can exterminate the world. Not going to happen.
And Mr. President, on Iran, if the deal is not reached by the end of the ceasefire, does your threat from before still stand?
Yeah, I don't want to comment on that, but it won't be pleasant for them. Let me put it that way.
Do you still plan to charge your toll to use restraining order?
Has your timetable changed in any way in terms of ending this conflict?
No, it's going on. Right now, there's no fighting. Right now, we have a blockade. They're doing no business. I didn't like seeing boats come out if they were doing business with Iran, but if they weren't, no boats came out. So now Iran is doing absolutely no business, and we're going to keep it that way very easily. Don't forget, their Navy is gone, their Air Force is gone, their anti-aircraft is gone, their radar is gone, and their leaders are gone.
Now, I will say this. They are continuing some business, but it's just very slow because now there's a block, not just with the U.S. trying to do their blockade. There are so many ships that are empty. There are ships that haven't been able to move for weeks. They need to have priority. They need to get those ships through the Strait of Hormuz first. Also, it's going to affect gas prices from my reading and understanding because we're backed up. What it is it's a waste of ships' time and money on these tolls. So the more they have to spend money and time being cut off and just sitting there stagnated, they're losing money and they're being charged money. So that's going to affect not only the supply of gas, but the gas prices. Now, the gas prices in the U.S. are a little over $4. They were going up to somewhere around $6 in California. They're saying that it dropped down a little So some people are seeing a little relief with it. It didn't go up anymore, but we're not out of the woods at all with it yet. There's still going to be a struggle when it comes to the demand and the prices of gas. Also, in my opinion, from what I think, you got to take a look at these gas stations. All right. They already had gas and fuel before the prices went up. They still charging y'all more. Okay. They're still charging people more, or all of us, whatever. They're still charging more. So they are getting nervous and upping prices even before it was even time. That's how I feel about it. So that's where some of that is too. Um, so what else was Trump saying on there? He's kind of not really saying really what's going on. It's not. I'll let it play out some more, but I just got to chime in when I know something's not true.
Do you still want to charge us
coming from predominantly going to China, Mr. President? Has Xi Jinping reached out? I know you're going to be...
No, but we have a very good relationship with China. He would like to see this ended also. He certainly wants it ended. Everyone, I want to see it ended too, but we can't give a nuclear weapon to a group of people that have caused nothing but havoc for 47 years.
I don't trust China. China was in discussions, possibly, allegedly, with Iran, wondering if they should go ahead and team up and help give weapons of arms to help them defend themselves in this war against Israel and America.
Look, I'm the president that's done something about it. This should have been, and many other presidents regret that they didn't. You know, so I'm doing something about it.
Ukraine impeachment documents that were just declassified show that Eric Charamella not only submitted false information, but that he had no direct knowledge of the alleged conversation. It was all hearsay. Do you feel vindicated by those?
Yeah, I do. They're a bunch of crooked people. You're talking about with respect to all of the things that they put against me? Yeah. Well, it's come out that in so many different ways. Thank you very much for that question. I appreciate it. But in so many different ways, the election was rigged. The 2020 election was rigged. We found that out. What you just said is just a piece of that. It's a big piece, but minor, relatively speaking, compared to what they did. They cheated in the election. They cheated on the vote. They cheated in every way possible, and it's the only way we got an incompetent man to be a president. And he was an incompetent man. Many of the things that we're talking about, even including this would have been settled a long time ago, not now. And it should have been settled by other presidents. But the election was a rigged election. We can't let that happen to our country.
It's concealment of exculpatory information. What should happen?
Well, it's a very serious charge against them and the Democrats. They cheat. They can't get elected with their policy. So their policy is no good. They want to have, open borders. They want to have men playing in women's sport. Do you think that men should play in women's sports?
I really don't have an opinion on that.
You don't? I'll bet you do.
No, I'm here about
Pizza.
no tax on tips.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I saw this clip, just came out maybe within an hour ago, right? As soon as I saw her shirt, it says Grandma's DoorDash for DoorDash. I knew she was there based on the thing about no tax on tips, because they do rely on their tips too. They get their money, but we give them tips too, with the delivery services, right? Now you see, he kind of put her on, not kind of, he put her on the spot. And I thought to myself, that wasn't appropriate, really. Now, me, I would have went in. I don't, ain't no company or nothing else gonna, because these things need to be discussed. But you have to realize this is an older woman. She drives around for a living, stopping at people's homes, and after she picks things up for them, her life can be vulnerable. She could get death threats. As soon as she says something like, yeah, there shouldn't be trans men wrestling with women, they might be like, oh, she's a homophobe. Who is that? Let's find out who she is. Oh, let's give her some backlash. Because that's what social media people think. That's what some of y'all trolls think is the way to go. When most of y'all wouldn't hurt a fly on your own. But to put someone on a spot that's not going to have that protection after, you got to be careful about that. She don't want to get in the middle of that. Even though, truth be told, if some of these men start hurting these males start hurting some of these females, don't surprise if we start attacking them, because we're not going to sit back and just watch you guys use sports to abuse women, to abuse the competitive sector. You know what I'm saying? You're unbalancing it, being a man, being born a male. So I have my views on that. But you have to think about this woman here. She's on international news, and she's getting asked a question just like that out of the blue that she wasn't prepared, or I should say she was prepared to not answer. So I do respect that in her. And Trump is used to people being like, yeah, yeah, whatever you say, that type of thing, where you can't expect that. Everyone has their different views. But I'm pretty sure this woman is like, hey, I'm not getting into all of that, but I appreciate you saying no tax on tips, man.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Good. They want to have, open borders. They want to have men playing in women's sport. Do you think that men should play in women's sports?
I really don't have an opinion on that.
You don't, I'll bet you do.
No, I'm here about no
Pizza.
tax on tips.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Is your understanding that during this period of time while the U.S. is executing this naval blockade, that oil companies will be able to send their oil tankers through the strait, get more oil out from this area?
Yeah, I think they're going to be doing very well there, and I think they're doing very well here. A lot of tankers are coming up here. They're coming in empty and out full. And we have a great capacity to take care of that business.
Ma'am, may we know your name?
No,
Please, have
they're
you been to
not.
the White House before?
I just
I have
spoke
not.
on that. There are ships that are empty, and that's a problem. And the fact that they're empty and they haven't been able to move. Some of them are just now moving. Some haven't moved still. That's a big problem, and it's going to have a domino effect on us and other people around the world also.
My name is Sharon Simmons.
And are the White House good tippers? Do you know?
Wait.
Potentially. Yes, very.
Mr. President, can I ask you something?
That's great. Thank you. You reminded me.
Mr. President, one on Cuba, sir. You previously said that you had no problem with countries sending fuel to Cuba after previously promising to tariff them. What happened? What changed?
Well, we're going to see with Cuba. Cuba's another story. Cuba's been a terribly run country for a long time. It's got a bad system. It's been very oppressive, as you know. And we have a lot of great Cuban Americans, all of whom just about voted for me. And they were treated very badly. In many cases, family members have been killed. They've been beaten up and mugged, and terrible things happened in Cuba. And Cuba's a failing nation. And we're going to do this. And we may stop by Cuba after we're finished with this. But Cuba is a nation that was just been horribly run for many years by Castro.
You said raised up by regulator Bill Pulte regarding those two recent referrals for Letitia James for insurance fraud. Do you know if federal prosecutors have evidence to charge?
Well, I don't know. I know she's a very corrupt person. And you're talking about the so-called Attorney General of New York. She's a very corrupt person. That's been proven now. And I know I have nothing to do with it, but they're looking at things all over the place, more than one state, concerning her and concerning people like Comey, who's a dirty cop. Comey's a dirty cop, and dirty cops are bad. Nobody likes the police more than me, the law enforcement more than me, but Comey's a totally dirty cop, and we're not gonna stand for it. Yeah.
The UFC fight that's happening at the White House this summer. UFC typically numbers those fights consecutively, but should they label this one UFC 1776?
That's a good idea. I'll tell that to Dana White. I like that idea, actually. I will say I've been involved with a lot of big events. I have never had an event that's had more interest than the UFC fight that we have right at the front door. Right there, they're going to start building about a 4,500 seat arena. And then in the back, at the Ellipse, we're going to have maybe 100,000, 50 to 100,000 people, I guess. They're building tremendous stages, and you're going to have massive screens of the fight. And it's a very popular sport. But I have never been involved, and because of the White House and everything, there's a lot of reasons for it, but we're having a fight at the White House on June 14th, and we're going to have an arena built right at the front door.
Wow.
And if you want, is your husband up to coming, do you think? Does he like UFC?
He might.
If he's feeling good, we'll make sure you come, okay?
That would be wonderful.
That's
Thank
better
you.
than the tip I just gave you, I'll tell you. That's a lot better. But no, if he's feeling good, right?
Yeah.
Is he doing okay? Is he going to be okay?
He's doing very well. He's doing.
I didn't know that, so we're hearing it first. I know he likes the UFC. He actually was at a UFC event. Trump was at a UFC event over the weekend, actually, particularly right on Saturday, while other government officials were all meeting internationally with the Pakistan mediator, to try to get the ceasefire in order and really get a deal going, which failed. But he went off to the fight. So now he's saying, okay, so Trump is saying they're going to have an arena over there too, so they can, okay. Well, I know he likes Jake Paul too, and he wants Jake Paul to run in politics. So this is all tying in together if you're really paying attention like me.
Very well. He actually, during the process, he wrote a book. And
Go ahead, give him the name. Maybe yourself.
He hasn't had it published yet, but it's a book on humility, and his name is Leo, and he's just
good guy.
Doing good. He's doing great.
How long are you married?
We have been married for 6 years.
Oh, that's good.
We've, like most people, we've been together for over 10. So
that's very good. Well, that's very nice to say hello to him. He's going to be good. Okay, he's going to get better, and he's going to be good.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes,
well,
sir.
I want to thank you all, and I especially want to thank you for being here.
Well, I want to thank you.
Thank you
for
much.
The no tax on tips.
Oh, that's good.
It has helped my family out immensely, and I definitely appreciate it.
That's so nice. The one thing that I just in leaving, we've had more good press for a change, having to do with the fact that people are receiving more money from their tax refunds than they ever thought possible. We had a man the other day got $5,000. Another one got $7,000. They weren't expecting anything like this, and it's because of the great big beautiful bill. And that's why you came, and I really appreciate it. And tell your husband to get better.
I will.
And if he's feeling good, you'll come up and you'll watch that fight.
All
okay,
right.
June 14th.
I appreciate it.
All
Thank
right?
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Take
much.
care of yourself.
Thank you.
Any update on
Thank
DOJ,
you.
though,
Thank you
Mr.
very
President?
much.
You went to leave DOJ. Any update on who you went to leave DOJ? Who you're going to nominate?
Well, I think Todd, as far as doing a fantastic job, I will say that. He's a great lawyer. I know that because he's been with me a long time. And so far, he's doing a great job. But we have incredible people in the DOJ, getting better all the time. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
All right, you've been listening.
All right. So back to let me see, the image that was put out where it showed President Trump as like portraying Jesus and healing people. Hang on, where is it? Criticism has been coming from Christian contributors of the Daily Wire, conservative media, on and on. So there's been a lot of backlash with this that was going on. Audrey Green Taylor, of course. Wait, I thought I just had it up there. I thought they was going to show when he spoke on it. Never mind. I'll get to that in a quick second. They had something on with the View. Let me see that real quick. Okay, they saying YouTube always got something to say.
Breaking down, and U.S. warships set to block oil. The war in Iran is entering week 7 with peace talks breaking down, and U.S. warships set to block oil from leaving the Strait of Hormuz. The Pope has spoken out against this war, and you know who apparently isn't happy about it. Take a look.
We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime. He's a man that doesn't think that we should be toying with a country that wants a nuclear weapon so they can blow up the world. I'm not a fan of Pope Leo.
I have no fear of neither the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel. And that's what I believe. I am called to do what the church is called to do. We're not politicians. We're not looking to make foreign policy, as he calls it, with the same perspective that he might understand it. But I do believe in the message of the gospel. Blessed are the peacemakers. It's a message that the world needs to hear today.
Won't show too much of that, but you pretty much know where they're going with that. So it's just a time where I just want to know where people's faith stands. That's why I asked a question in the chat. I did a poll question that asks, do you believe we're in the midst of a spiritual warfare? Do you have a belief? Do you feel that this is on a different level? I do. Um, or do you feel like, nah, this always been going on? I just wonder what your feelings are. And like, do you have faith? Have you ever just had to hold on to something when you had no one to hold on to? I've experienced that, and I had nothing but faith, and that's what got me through. Nothing else, no one else. Even though people were there to help, and maybe wasn't that many people, to be honest, keeping it real. A lot of people aren't there for me. But you know what? My faith is. It'll keep you alive. Trust me. If you just give it a chance. You what you need to do and see things for yourselves. I hope that the energy that I try to put out there you can feel, because we are in a very delicate time right now. Delicate time. So it is what it is. But yeah, so that's what we got going on. And part of my channel, I do talk about things that do with our energy inside us, our spirituality. I don't want us to be divided based on religion, because there's plenty of this area in this discussion that anyone should be able to participate in. Just talk about how you feel. When you by yourself, do you meditate, do you manifest things, or do you just kind of just go on with life, and just kind of just go with the flow with things? I don't know. But we'll see. This is like a test. I feel like it's a test of faith going on. More people are going to have testimonies. It's going to push a lot of y'all that stay quiet and just listen. You're going to be pushed to speak out. The time is now. You have a voice. And a lot of y'all probably didn't feel like people care or listen. I care and I listen here. And it's time. Whichever way you look at this, it's time. So let me close up out of that. So what I'll do is close out with like I said, it's like Iran and some other countries that say they ain't scared. Everybody, people be like, oh, big bad tough America, wealthy America. They're like, we ain't scared. So like I said in the beginning of the stream, it made me think of Eminem's song, I'm Not Afraid. And it made me think of rest in peace, one of the best comedians, Bernie Mack. When he came to New York, I'm a native New York. When he came to New York City and he was like, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I ain't scared of y'all. So it just made me think of those. So I was just referencing to that as we close out. Does help to hit like, y'all, because I know y'all be taking up space. Y'all see that I'll be multitasking. I do visuals in the background. I type. I'll be in the chat. Giving you commentary. I'm keeping you up to date on things I think are very important. So it does help. But you know what to do. If you do want to or interested in supporting the channel, further information is in the description about section 2 on that. So I'm Kiy N.Y. Y'all be safe, and I appreciate y'all coming out, and I hope everyone is doing well, and hope to see y'all. Feel you. Feel you next time. How about that? Let me check and see the poll that's in here. See what you guys how y'all answered that. That I just mentioned. Come on, computer. Come on. Oh my goodness. I'll be moving. I'll be working up a sweat over here. Coming out here. Sweat. Let the music take control. Get you in the mood to. We need more music. When people get their bodies moving, don't you know wars would stop? Y'all probably think I'm playing. There's something in energy. That's what we're different in where I come from. I don't know. Areas in New York, I know y'all got music everywhere, but it's different what music will do. I just wish people would tap into more of that frequency. There would be so much less nonsense, y'all, having faith in music. Now I want to see what you guys did on the poll. I can barely see the poll, so I'm gonna have to figure this out. This is gonna tick me off, but I don't want to get mad. So I asked a question. Here we go. All right. Are we in a worldly spiritual warfare? Most of y'all said yes. Okay. 69% said yes. 31% said no. Okay. Very interesting. And I like it, because it's kind of tough getting across to people that are so closed off by, believing into something bigger than yourselves, So I appreciate that. And I always respect and welcome your honesty here, and hopefully y'all come back. All right. All right. Thanks. That'll be all for now. We'll close out with some more humor. And I hope y'all have a great day, night, evening, wherever you're at. Peace. This is Kiy N.Y7.
I love sex, man. I love it by the pound. I be glad when they put that shit in cans. Out this whole room get dark. Kick it! You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I love sex, man. I love it by the pound. I be glad when they put that shit in cans. Can you imagine sex in cans? Motherfuckers be shoplifting and shit. Folks be playing ball, man. Then what you getting ready to do, man? I'm tired. I'm giving me a six-pack of pussy. I'm going in. Kick it! You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. Women just do anything till you talk to any kind of way you want to talk to somebody. It don't make no motherfucking sense. I'm at a bar minding my business, cooling out, just being cool, like I am, chilling. Woman gonna come to me, she just asked me the goddamn thing she wanna do. She said, Mac. I said, yeah, that's my name. She said, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. She says, does pussy taste like pumpkin pie? Made me mad as hell. I said, don't ask me no damn question like that. I ain't never had no pumpkin pie. Kick it!
Kiy N.Y7.
I'll be back on too, possibly another day this week, most likely. Like I showed y'all in the beginning, I just wanted to add one more thing. I'm showing y'all that there's different allegiances in different countries of Africa that have been preparing for a lot of this that we're seeing. Africa is a motherland, as we know. They have been preparing to make sure that the Western Hemisphere and any others don't continue to keep trying to come to Africa stealing resources. Yeah, taking and stealing. So we have a lot of that coming up, and I will have more detailed information on that as I'm following the economics and the strifes and a lot of things that are going on with foreign affairs, but particularly with the connection with Africa. All right, so see y'all next time. Thanks again. Peace.